afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about brain health. This is Mental Health Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and if you look it up, there are probably 30 different kinds of events taking place, national and daily. Yesterday was help me out, I think it was World Mental Health Awareness Day. And so what we wanted to do is we want to talk about mental health awareness. As an older adult, I've learned that mental health is crucial to our well-being, and we are interconnected, body, mind, and soul. And so today we're going to just kind of talk a little bit about some different areas that we have in following with that, because there just are so many. And I was actually able to speak at the college the other day, which was so exciting. I spoke to young ones, and so I went, wow, I get to speak to the older, and I love it. I love it. You know, they were just young college students, and we just talked about why it's important to stay healthy and different ways to do that. Well, as mental health moments, you know, our emotional health is just crucial to how we feel. It's very amazing that stress is interlinked to so many difficult situations in your body. And so if you're under stress, then it's going to wreak havoc on your body, and as your body is not aligned because of the stress, you can have hypertension, heart attacks, nervousness, stomach issues. The list goes on, and especially with heart issues can be very, very, there's actually a heart issue that is called, it just flew out. But there are so many things that are dealt with just stress. And so as we were talking, as Katie and I were talking a while back, we said, you know what, we need to focus something on mental health and mental wellness, not just mental health, because it's Depression Awareness Month. And mentally, when we have depression, that's definitely affects that's what comes from our brain. And that depression can come from incidences of our past. And so, you know, World Mental Health and Mental Health Wellness, there was OCD. This is OCD week, which is obsessive compulsive disorder. And if you've ever seen Monk on TV, you'll know that is it's a fun show, but he's an OCD. And so there's just so many issues today. Children as well have so many difficulties throughout their lifetime, and today we have more and more stress that is included. And so what I'm going to kind of talk about today is what kind of things can we do to keep our brain healthy? Do you think that there are any ways that you can keep your brain healthy? Okay, as a Hope and Healthy Living Coach, one of the things that I've talked about on my Facebook page, I have Laurel C Dobson on Facebook, and one of the things I talk about very, very often is what we eat, because we are what we eat. We can be energized by what we eat, or we can be lethargic and have no energy. And so what we eat is really incredibly important. So proper diet is probably number one. And when we're eating things with fruits and vegetables, those are highly important. You know, I think the diet, you know, and it makes me crazy when I look at the kids what they're eating in the schools, because the number one thing is carbs, and carbs affects how you think. And if we're trying to get our children to think properly, then we need to make sure that they are thinking properly. Then give them the foods they need to feed their brain. You see, I have some books here called Grain Brain, and that is a phenomenal book, and it talks about just that, how gluten really affects how we think. We often think it's something else, but sometimes if we take the gluten out of our diets, that's it changes that. Okay, so another way to keep your brain healthy is by stimulating it, doing something you've never done before. Okay, so one of the things that I did was I never taught at a college class. And so that was a first time for me. And I was like, okay, now I have 16 people in front of me. And that was very different. I taught Sunday school. Mary, you were a part of my Sunday school class for a little while. And so that when I did it the very first time though, I had gone from teaching children, because my upbringing is education, and I was one-on-one. I did a lot of tutoring. I did ESL and ELL tutoring for English second language. But then I switched with teaching children. I went to senior adult classes and senior adult Bible classes, and actually still have one that I do every Sunday morning. So that stimulates, and there's a lot of ways that you can stimulate your brain. That's why people like the Reduco puzzles books. Or my grandson has tried to challenge me to do a Rubik's Cube. He can do them in seconds. He's able to do it in like 27 seconds. And I'm going, oh my gosh, it makes me crazy just trying to. But you have to be a right or a left brain. You have to understand where you are at. For me, it's different.
I've tried. I can't do those.
No. And he says, Nana, it's easy. You just have to. Excuse me for a minute. Oops, amazing. It's easy. All you have to do is understand the algorithms in it, and then you just make your fingers in your head go together. I'm going,
so easy.
Yeah, how do you do that? But, eventually it is something that I will work on. But I have to understand that I am not a left brain person. Left brain people, and he's actually both, so he has the advantage there. Left brain are very number oriented, whereas a right brain person is very creative oriented. So when I want to try something, it is a challenge when I work with numbers, and it's like, it's okay, I'm stimulating my brain, so that's a good thing. As I'm drinking my water, staying hydrated is crucial to your brain, because when you stay hydrated, even with only 10% of dehydration in your body, it affects your brain. Did you know that? People go in the hospital. I had 2 people that I knew ended up in the hospital just because they were dehydrated. My dad was dehydrated and could not function. He was not thinking properly. And so they took him in and they said, Irvin, you need water to drink. And so that's very important. Physical exercise. I know sometimes when we get older, or even the young people, because we like those video games, we're not doing the exercising that we need to, the physical aspect. Exercising is very stress relieving. And that's one of the things that we want to try to do as much as possible, is to be able to relieve stress in our systems. But when we're doing things like that, on bicycling or rock climbing, be safe. We have to protect our heads, because our diving, how many diving accidents have happened, and people have the traumatic brain injuries. And so they're paralyzed, or they're, their brains are damaged for life. We take for granted our brain, and it's not. We have to really begin to think about it, because it's an organ. It's the number 1 organ in our body, and it's so crucial. And we only use a very tiny part of it. And so my challenge to you is to try to utilize some of these things. Another one, the next one, and this one I've always had trouble with, because I am not, is sleep habits. When we are, I see you chuckling. When we are not getting the amount of sleep that we need, it does affect our thinking in the daytime. We're not able to collect and connect our thinking, our problems. And sometimes, why do we not sleep? Stress. Why have you ever had?
Your mind keeps going before you.
Yes, your mind keeps going.
Stop.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Well, I have found some oils that really help me to do that. But one of the things about myself is, because I'm an ADHD person, which I've just admitted in the last couple of years, I don't require a lot of sleep. 6 hours is my maximum. If I can sleep 6 hours, and especially if I can sleep 5 hours uninterrupted, because as we get older, sometimes it's more difficult to sleep solidly. But I have found that there are some essential oils that really make a big, big difference in my life to be able to include and have that 6 hours of sleep. Because what it does is it helps your brain to refreshed. And it actually helps your body refresh as well. Okay, so we talked about, this is one that's called learning. Learning keeps our brain young. And so what kind of thing can you do to keep your brain young? Try something new. Try something new. That's why they challenge us to try something new that you've never done before.
Step out of your box.
Step out of your box, exactly. And for those people who don't like to step out of their box or like to have everything nice and convenient and nice and not to change, that's a very difficult spot to get into. And you have to be courageous to do that. And you know, one of our oils is valor, and sometimes I'm going, okay, I really need to get my valor on because I need to be courageous today. I need to do this. When I do videos like this, it's very often I'm nervous, which is crazy because I've done them, especially even in my home, I've done them. I'm going, there's nobody here. Why are you nervous? But you know, you have to understand what your body is needing, and so I'll come in to use that one. Another one kind of goes with the learning is switching your activities. Go somewhere, drive differently than what you normally drive. You know, as you're going around to different places, drive different. Drive someplace that you've never been before, and see how it goes. It takes your brain off of autopilot, and it makes your brain start to think. And that's why if you're a left brain, do something creative. If you're a right brain, do something with numbers. And so challenge yourself with some of these, because what you're going to find is going, wow, my memory is increasing. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking more clearly. And so those are very, very, very important. These are kind of, the last few are interesting because number one, this one is, we had learned isolation back when we were during COVID. We were all isolated. And I've noticed, and maybe you have as well, that in that isolation, we kind of learned to stay back and just get comfortable in our homes. But we are created as social beings. We need that interaction with other people. It helps our body process. It helps our brain to process. And it lowers depression. It lowers depression. So these kids that are staying home all the time and just doing their video boxes, no wonder they're fighting such depression. They need that interaction. They need to learn how to get along with their children. Managing stress. You know, as we manage the stress in our lives, it will change how we feel. It will change how our body feels. And it will change how we even think. Because as we begin to change the stress level, and even sometimes we have to unclutter our minds. And when we unclutter our mind, how do we do that? Well, there's a couple ways. One of the things that I've learned just recently is that when you're in a home where it's cluttery, or my base nature is clutter. And so I can keep my whole house clean, but when it comes to my work area, because it's a sewing, it's crafts, it's my business, it's scrapbooking, and it's card making. And so I have 5 things all in one area. And so it's very important to me to make sure that I have them clean, because then I can concentrate. Otherwise, if your mind is cluttered with on the outside activities or even surroundings, outside surroundings, it limits the ability to connect and think clearly. And so being able to do that is really crucial. And then, you know, as you're trying to do new things, read a new book. Read a book. When was the last time we've read a book? Who likes to sit still and read a book? Sometimes it's hard to do that, isn't it?
It's hard to sit still.
Yeah, I agree. It is very hard to sit still. I do find that when I take a bath, that's a perfect time to read a book, and I love it. Put it away, and avoid. One of the things, avoid toxic substances, alcohol, drugs, and smoking, because those go right to your brain, and they affect your brain. And they don't think it does, but when you drink a lot of alcohol, it kills the brain cells. It will kill your brain cells. And so we don't want to do that. The last one,
Very interesting.
it was so
Nice
good to
seeing
see you, Mary. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Check it out. We'll be on Facebook.
Okay.
Digital detoxing. Digital detoxing is put aside your phone, put aside all the technology, and just sit quietly. Or just be without, turn it off. They say that people who don't sleep at night, it's often because they've used the technology so much throughout the day that it hinders how well they can sleep. And so that's really, so we want to clear the clutter of our minds. And as we clear the clutter of our minds, even with that, because look how fast can you go through? I know people that love to just go through YouTubes, and they go through them in they're like 15 seconds. I'm going, you didn't even see what it said, but it's 15 seconds. And I think the average is only 10. And so they just, slash, what is it called, something, just slide right through them. And that's affecting our brain, and people don't understand that really is affecting our brain and how it is. So these are some tips that I wanted to leave with you. Excuse me. So one of the things, we talked about stimulating your brain with new activities. Well, some of the things that we can do is I brought some things in that you can try to change into that will help you to stimulate your brain. Things like creating. Now, we are at Grafton Thrifter, and it is a
Resale shop.
resale shop, absolutely. And so what we like to do is we like to repurpose. And so you'll notice I have all kinds of baskets here, and the baskets are all from this shop. All the baskets that you see are from the shop. We just picked them up and said, okay, and our cups, all of it is from here, because we want to repurpose many of the things. Even clothing are able to be repurposed. And so as we're finding some of those things, well, one of the things my mom discovered was how to repurpose your onion sacks, or all the little vegetable sacks. I'm gonna pass this around. These make the best scrubbers. When she gave me mine, I never have used anything different. And it's just crocheted. It's
I was
very,
gonna say, is it crocheted?
it is crocheted. It is.
Yeah.
But you can learn, you can learn. It is something that you can learn. Very simple, does not take very much time. And it's all scraps. Scrap fabric that she uses, the plastic in the onions and potatoes, and anytime you get a,
Interesting.
and you just, it doesn't take very long at all to make them. So that's really a fun one to do. Another thing,
Does this require counting?
you know what? Only the first one, because you start out, I think, with 4 or 5, and you don't know. It doesn't matter how many you put
It's
on
like
there.
the other side brain, and it's counting for me.
But some of those things, that really makes a difference. And when you're trying, it's just a way to be able to learn something new. I challenged myself to begin making prayer shawls. And so that's just, and I have a terrible time making the pattern go. So what do? Okay, once I get going, I'm really good. So you find someone who says, you're really good at reading this pattern, help me get started. Once I get started, then I'm good. And so interact with someone and find out. I'd be glad to teach you how to do that. They're very simple. Now, I'll probably make a mistake because I haven't done one in a while again. And it's not, mom has been doing this for years, and hers is perfect. Her stitches are perfect. Mine's not. And it's okay. It's
If
okay.
you're gonna scrub a pan with it, does it really matter?
That's exactly right. But they
Yeah.
last forever. They even last when I put them in my garbage disposal.
On purpose?
Not on purpose. What is that sound? Oh no, you did it again. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about, because a sense of humor. We have to keep laughing. Laughing is good medicine. It's good medicine to us. They found that it releases endorphins, and when those endorphins are released, we feel better. And as we feel better, that changes our outlook, what we see. We talked about it being social, the interaction, find a way to interact with other people. Because when you interact with someone else, it helps you to feel important. We all need to feel important. We need to feel like we belong. And with the isolation, it has kept us separate from one another. And unfortunately, many people have just kind of settled into that. So if you know somebody that has done that, my mental moments is reaching out to a friend. Coming up in November, we'll be doing a cup of thanks. So we have a whole shelf full of cups of thanks. Because what I want to do is, and I did this a couple years ago, actually just after COVID, my attitude was so bad. And there were so many things. I was missing my family and I was missing everybody, and I thought, I have to do something. What am I going to do? And I had no joy. And so I thought, I came up with this idea to make a cup of thanks. And so every day I would write something I was thankful for. And so I developed a whole list of things that I can be thankful for. And so then we made little tags and I put them in the cup. And every day, then I have something. And a lot of them include interacting with people. Well, even if we're isolated, we can still call them. We can still talk to them. A phone call, a live phone call is amazing. Sometimes we think, well, I'll just text them.
Yeah.
But texting it's kind of cold. It's kind of cold. But a phone call, oh my gosh, it's so much better. It's so much better. And so when we're doing that spending that time and spending quality time with our family and friends, we can say, okay, well, I have 20 minutes, so how about now? Well, that's not very, okay, I'll squeeze my time in there. Yeah, okay, let's hurry, rush. Okay, we're done. I checked my book. No. It's okay. It's okay to say no to something that needs to be done, to spend time with a person, to spend time with your family and build those relationships. And as we're setting time aside, some of the other things are, what about a hobby? When's the last time you did something? What's your favorite hobby? Outside of working, because you're working 2 full-time jobs.
My favorite hobby. Oh my gosh. I love to sing. I love to sing and write music.
Yay!
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Marion, how about you?
Well, I can't sing, and if I did, none of them. But basically, sewing is kind of my thing, and I bought an embroidery. Well, I've been sewing pretty much all my life, and in my family, all this recycling was just second nature.
Yes.
I mean, my grandmother, my mother, we all did
Yes.
that. Both sets of grandparents. It was like you didn't even think about it. It was like
You used everything.
everything you had. Okay,
Yes.
if you years ago products came in something that you could reuse as something else.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's exactly right.
Yes.
And so that was, but the sewing, it's like, yeah, and then
And
I
we
have some more stories when you get finished with yours,
We've become a throwaway society.
which is sad.
It's just very sad because our landfills are just getting over. I was
Yeah.
wondering one day, I wonder what they'll say, 200 years from now when the archaeologists go back in and look at our garbage. Wow.
They show those places with all the water bottles, washed up on the,
yes.
it's usually in these other countries, where we've sent them, nicely sent them all our trash.
Yes.
And,
Right.
and they're the, all
Yeah.
this garbage.
Well, the other thing
Yeah.
is that there is a whole, an area in the ocean where bottles have all gathered together, and it's as big as a state. It's huge, and they're trying to come up with ways to get rid of it because they just float and they don't disintegrate, and we're polluting it, and so our animals, the animals are getting some of those. What are they? Anyways, whatever is in the, I think it's BPA's, whatever is in the bottles that are toxic to us is in the animals, and so they're finding traces of that in their makeup today. And so, but sometimes we have to kind of change up ideas. So hobbies are a great one. I have too many hobbies. I really do. No, but one of the things I like to do is I do like to write. And so, and I like to create cards. So these are kind of, this basket here is very cute, but it is very heavy. So I'm just gonna slide right over here. And so one of the things I like to do is, in recycling manner, have you ever had any of the old calendars, those little daily calendars? Those are so cute and the pictures are so perfect. So I make cards with them. And how fun is that? Because you just make a card
Who
and
gives you those calendars anymore?
no, the ones you purchase, they're just a small little
Oh,
calendar.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's like a daily calendar. And I've had, I just send this one around to take a look at. Hi there, how are you today?
Good.
And so I love to make different kinds of cards. And so I haven't made a card now in a very long time just for that reason. Welcome, join us. We're having a little talk about mental health. This is Mental Health Month.
Oh, okay.
So you can walk around
I'll
and
browse and listen.
that's fine. You go right ahead. Absolutely, absolutely. And that kind of brings me to the same point: is sending somebody a personal card is very. When was the last time you received a card?
I don't know.
Yeah, we get junk in the mail.
Yeah.
Send them a live card, and it's shocking how people go, "Oh my gosh, thanks for the card," and you get a live phone call. So just something like that. It's just a small little thing. It doesn't cost very much to make. And now I've had some enough that I'm going to start to I'll sell them when I do my other events in the upcoming weeks, because I have several events that I'm getting to be part of. And so, as we do that, we learn how to do different things. How are we doing on time?
About 20 minutes.
Okay. And so, as we're detoxing from our digital, get creative. Because what happens is when we are kind of stuck inside of this, of the digital world, because right now it's a very digital world, if we get stuck inside of that, it limits our creativity. And so some of the things we're talking about just for stress relieving, because that's with the brain. We have to relieve those stress. How do you do that? Go for a walk. As I was preparing for a couple classes this week, I thought, okay, I have to get outside. And it was cold. I thought, all right, I'm putting my coat on. I'm going to go outside anyway. So I went outside and went for a walk. And it's amazing how much better you feel when you do that, because it gives you a little bit of clarity in your mind. So one of the things that I wanted, because what I do is I believe that we are body, mind, and soul interconnected. And that's what you see with the brain health, is that everything that we do, everything that we ingest, everything that we think affects our bodies. And what can we do to change that? So one of the things that I've learned to do is to use essential oils. As I've used the essential oils, I am a hands-on person. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to find out, do they really work? Yeah, they smell pretty, but do they work? And so I started using it with my students in the classroom when I was teaching. And I noticed in the classroom, my girls would come in, and one of the things I had two or three that I specifically used. Number one was peppermint. I could take a drop of peppermint on my finger, and on that, I could just put it right here, or you could just smell it. But what I would do is I'll let you go ahead and just wave it under your nose, just smell it. And I would take one drop, just one little drop, put it on my finger like this, and I would rub it on their temple, and I would rub it on the back of their neck. And when I did that, their PMS headaches would go away, or their tension headaches would go away. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful aspect that works. And peppermint, one of the things that I don't really have time to talk about today, but if you're more interested in this, is the essential oils that have been suggested even by the Alzheimer's.net. They have several that are there, and I kind of wanted to just talk about these. And if you have a pencil, I'm gonna let you go ahead and fill these out as you go along.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
We've got a class.
Come in, yes.
Wellness Month.
It's what?
It's Emotional Wellness
Hi,
Month. So we're
come and
having a
join us.
presentation.
Oh.
Sure, here you go.
Laurel's a Hope and Healthy Living Coach, and so we invited her here to talk to us a little bit about Emotional Wellness Month.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So you're welcome to sit if you want and browse.
There's a
or-
pen, do you have a pen? I'm gonna let you go ahead
Yeah,
and
thank you. And
use
we're
this.
gonna do a gift basket giveaway also, and then we have some giveaways over there also.
Okay.
But we only have about 15 minutes left, so.
Oh, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna just wrap it up here quickly, and then I wanna make sure that there are time, you have time to ask questions today.
Can I sit here?
Yes,
Sure.
absolutely. Take one of those bags, you get to choose one of those.
Oh, I take one?
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then if you would like to put your name and phone number on here, it's for the giveaway for the gift basket.
Oh, I got a pen.
Oh, perfect.
I'll use mine. I think I have one.
Okay, so in our brain health, the Alzheimer's, I do a lot of research. I love researching. And so one of the things that I do as I've been researching about brain health is what oils are good for dementia, what oils are good for Alzheimer's. And ironically, the same ones that are good for that are good for students to help their focus. And so you notice there's emotions, focus, memory, concentration, and then dementia or Alzheimer's. And I'm not sure why these are stuck in here.
What did you
have
say?
these
We're gonna
all
put the
arranged so that they
giveaways
would
in
not be.
At the end.
Oh, okay, just hold it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the first one we're gonna talk about is basil. And basil helps with clarity and focus. Now, do you ever cook spaghetti sauce? Old-fashioned spaghetti sauce?
Not too often.
Okay,
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Homemade, yeah.
okay.
Oh my goodness.
And when you're cooking it, how do you feel?
Oh, I feel good.
Yes, there's a reason,
It smells
because,
good too.
yes, because many of the
It does.
oils that we
It
use are very, very beneficial. Rosemary is on our list as well, and rosemary is one of the absolute favorites of mine for concentration. I use that one. This is basil though. I'll let you pass this one around.
Hello
And if you can keep the
there.
lid with this, that would be great.
We're having an Emotional Wellness Month.
Hi there, how are you today?
Celebration here.
One of the things I like to do, relieve my stress, is I like to go to West Virginia.
There you go.
Yes.
Man, oh man.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna just
Are we
open
supposed
all
to
of
check what is good for?
I went to an attorney's
Yeah, I
the other
think
day to
so.
talk about
I'm
some
not
things,
sure.
and she said when she
This does
retires
smell
in 2 years,
amazing.
she's moving to West Virginia.
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful
Yes,
there.
absolutely. It's beautiful there.
Goodness.
You know,
I
it's
just
a
thought
slow,
it was so funny. She's always lived around here. She's gonna move to West.
it's a slower pace.
Random but amazing.
Now, rosemary just recently has become one of my favorite oils simply because it truly helps me to concentrate. It helps me to focus. And if I get a stress headache, which sometimes I do because I'm pretty active, and so my mind goes a million miles an hour, and I can't get it to turn off. Do you ever have that trouble when you have your mind not want to turn off? Yeah, I do all the
I
time.
try to sleep.
Yes,
Yeah, and so what I'll
always.
do is I'll take
Always.
a drop of it, and I'm gonna send this around. This is the rosemary, and you're gonna think, wait, these are all Italian spices. This is why you feel good when you cook with Italian spices. It's because they are very good for your brain. They make your brain work better.
Like cooking something with, because I raised some herbs, cooking something with, say, rosemary. Is
Yes.
that better than using the oil, or not necessarily? Or
Well, you can do that, but the way the essential oils work is they are distilled,
Mhm.
and so the amount of life essence that's taken out of the plant is very, very deeply concentrated. like for our rose is probably our very most expensive, which I'm saving up to earn some of my points. And it actually has the highest frequency, so it raises our body's frequency. That's why the oils work, is they raise your body's frequency, and it helps you to feel, we have to be all in alignment. If our frequency gets off, then we can very quickly get sick, okay? And so the next one I have is sage. And I'll leave the lid with that.
Are we supposed to check with these? You're supposed to?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
basil was for what now?
Okay, basil is for memory.
Okay,
I put focus.
Focus and memory for basil, yes, that's a
Okay,
good one too, yep. And so that one works with the Alzheimer's as well.
and the rosemary is what?
And rosemary, the rosemary, oops, Daisy, where's my rosemary? Rosemary,
I'm not
rosemary
aware of
hits
No, you're
4 of
fine, I'm
them.
just standing here looking.
It is
It's
focus,
beautiful in here.
memory,
So pretty.
concentration,
If you wanted to try anything out,
Dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay,
Five.
no, it's okay.
5, yes.
Thank you.
All except for the emotions. But the rosemary is very, very highly beneficial for the brain activity. And when I first smelled it, I thought, ew, I don't like this at all.
I love
And
sage.
my friend said, if you don't like it, you probably really need it. And I went, well, I don't know about that, but okay,
Sage
maybe.
is
It's kind of woodsy.
Oh,
like-
yeah?
It is
Yeah.
very woodsy,
Interesting.
yes, and I do have that in the diffuser. I have that with our thieves and a little bit of evergreen, Everest.
Sage is good as sausage.
Sage is very good at sausage, yes, absolutely, and
The rosemary is
Chicken.
good for pork chops
yes, it is.
and lamb chops.
Oh, I've never used it with lamb chops.
Yeah, I use these, I forgot what it's called. It's a combine those spices,
Uh-huh.
rosemary, thyme, it has a whole bunch of stuff in it. And I
Okay.
sprinkle it on the pork chops and the lamb
Very
chops.
good, very good,
With the
yeah.
oil, I oil them first and then I
Uh-huh.
put them in
Very
the air.
professional.
I put them in the air fryer. It's
Oh, there
really
you
good.
go.
You should do cooking shows.
Yeah.
Come in and teach us about cooking.
Okay, we already said peppermint. Peppermint is one of the, was also very good for memory, concentration, I'm sorry, memory, yep, focus, memory, concentration, dementia, and Alzheimer's.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so it really connects all of them.
Okay, what was the sage? Did you say which one that
The sage,
was? What was those for?
sage is best for memory and concentration. Memory and concentration. Folks, if you'd like to sit and join us, we do have a gift exchange afterwards.
We have,
Yeah.
places to go.
Oh, okay.
Thank you though.
No, we're glad you stopped in.
Great,
Be the light. I like your shirt.
thank you.
That's
Yes.
great. We do have to be the light, which is why we're sharing here today. Okay. Get a drink.
Peppermint.
Okay. This one is is a unique one, but it's called Brain Power. And I do use this one very often when I'm trying to complete a task, along with my vetiver. My vetiver I probably have in my pocket. I think I took it right out of there. Because it's one that I use all the time. Oh, that's RC. Vetiver is good for getting a task complete. And so that one I need very, very
Oh,
often.
I need to give that to my
Vetiver.
husband.
But you know what's funny is if you use them, I'm gonna just put,
What's the name of that?
vetiver.
Benavir?
Yeah, vetiver. Mhm.
Vetiver.
Vetiver, yep.
Here it is, it's down here. This-
Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect, yes.
I think my favorite
Yeah,
so far
it's
is
down
the
there.
rose.
The,
I think.
this one's,
So that'd be like focus, right? That focus?
Vetiver. Hi there, how are you?
Yes, Bedivere. Now, one of the things that you can do, you said you want your husband to do it, is if you put it in a diffuser, he does not know that you're using it. And that's what I will often do. If you want to get a task done, my one of the people that I know that uses, she'll use brain power, Bedivere, and common sense. And she said, oh my gosh, it's shocking how quickly they get through the task when you tell them to get it done. It's like,
Brain power, Bedivere, and what else?
our kids too.
What's the other one?
Our kids as well.
Bedivere, brain power, and what?
Bedivere, brain power, and common sense. I don't think I brought common sense in here, but that's kind of an additional one that sometimes I like to use.
So that's a sneaky way to get other people
It
motivated.
really is. It's true, yes.
You don't have that one on here, do you?
No, I don't have common sense on there. That's kind of, that's one of them that, and see, she did it, that was fun. You blended the two
Oh.
fragrances.
Wow.
Mhm.
Interesting. Make sure to get the caps back on. Brain
Um,
power.
So again, let me just give you the
Wow.
uses, the best uses for Bedivere, which has become my all-time favorite, and that is focus. That's the number one. It's actually, it actually has the highest efficacy to create focus. That's the Bedivere.
Focus.
Mhm.
Focus,
Focus, yes,
and what
focus.
else? Just emotions?
Is it emotions?
No, it's most, it's not, it does have a lot of other things, but it's mainly, its main
Okay.
purpose is focus. Main purpose is focus. It's not on here, but getting a task done. I don't know if
Concentration.
concentration, it would be under concentration, absolutely, absolutely. Brain power is focus and concentration. So they are both very much so. Because if you can't focus, it's hard to complete a task, especially for those of us who get sidetracked easily. Or when was the last time you walked downstairs and forgot why we went downstairs? Man, why did I come down here? Okay, I'm
And
not
then you
gonna
go all
leave.
the way back
Just
up.
get
more
Oh, yes, I
exercise.
wanted to get.
I'm not gonna leave until I remember
Right?
why I'm here.
Yes.
Yes. So that,
Definitely need this one.
that one,
Yeah.
definitely, that's one of my very, very favorites. Okay. Let me see here. This is one that I actually purchased right after I retired, because I retired from education and decided to go to work. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I started my own business, and that's why I do Young Living. Because I saw it work in the classroom, and because I saw how it worked for me in the classroom, I said, wait, I need to share this with other people so that they know they have the benefits that I've had. The Ninja, I have some Ninjas here that we'll talk about later, but the Ninja is a juice. It's an energy juice. And so in the afternoon, instead of having a cup of coffee, I would quickly grab a pack of Ninja. And so that really made a difference. So when I retired, I'm going, well, what do I do? What do I do now that I'm retired? And I'd always wanted to start my own business. I mean, I tried to do all these little things and a lot of the ideas I had, but they were 40 years too early. Like, I wanted to be a grocery shopper for people. Now everybody's doing it. About 40 years ago, people go, no, I don't want you to go grocery shopping for me. And so I use Clarity every single day.
Thank you.
And that was what here's the lid for that. And what I noticed was I actually had my bottle of Clarity for well over 2 years. And although sometimes they seem a little pricey, 2 years, it lasts. And now that one just has like 1 drop in it, and I'm saving that bottle because it still is very, very, and because they work on a molecular level, when you're smelling them, it's going to go right to you. It goes right to your brain. It goes right to your brain. And that's why I talk so much about brain health.
That's memory, or which one is that one for?
Clarity. Clarity is for quite a few of them. Clarity is for emotions because it helps to soothe the emotions in it. It is for focus and concentration.
Okay.
And Clarity, although it's not, because that is a unique blend by Young Living, that was not one that was suggested by Alzheimer.net, but because of the emotional stance of dementia and Alzheimer's, because it can affect the brain to bring on intense anger and emotions, the clarity would be very good for that, both of those as well. The next one is peace and calming, and unfortunately I don't have an open peace and calming, but I do have a roll-on. And Katie, if you can open this up and just each one of you take a package, okay? And you can put that in your little bag then. And peace and calming is just exactly what it says. It's for peace and calming. Very fun, very fun.
Emotions? So the emotions.
Peace and calming is for emotions. Yes, ma'am. Very good. Definitely for emotions. And there's another one that we use, we have, which is called Stress Away. But I do like the peace and calming a lot. That was really a trick because it's very difficult to open this. Good for you. There you go. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Have a good day, ladies.
Thank you.
Now, this one, I use this one every single morning. And this is frankincense. And frankincense is anti-tumoral. It has anti-tumoral properties. And it also has numerous properties that are so beneficial in supporting your whole body. But one of the things that are very, very important with frankincense is the fact that it works with emotions. I had an instance where one of my students, he was autistic. I decided that I was going to try to, again, I'm hands-on. I wanted to see the effects. And in a class that I was teaching, we were teaching a computer class, and he was a pretty good sized boy, and he lost it. Well, anybody that's familiar with autism, that's very common. It's very common to have an emotional outburst. Well, he was going to smash my computer, and I thought, oh no,
Wow.
now what do I do? So I grabbed hold of my frankincense that was in my pocket, and I said, can you, and I opened it up, and I just kind of started waving it under his nose. Can you smell this? No, I don't want to. I said, come on, just smell it, see what you think. He goes, my mom makes me smell this. I went, I said, can you go ahead and take another whiff of this? Well, long story short is by the time we ended the class, he won the contest we were going through that day.
Wow.
Because it not only, it just calmed him down so, it was 100% change.
Wow.
And, so things like that. And that was, it changed his focus. He was
Wow.
able to focus. And, so the same with Alzheimer's, because of the emotional outburst with that, when our brain is affected and not working properly, we have emotional outbursts, and frankincense will calm it down. And so that one is probably one of my favorites. Cedar wood. Cedar wood is another one that is very good for focus and concentration. And it's very good for grounding. So really it's very good for peace. If you have a situation where you just feel you need a little bit of calming aspect, cedarwood is very good. It has a very woodsy scent.
Yeah, it does smell like the woods.
Uh-huh.
Outdoors.
Yes,
Leaves.
outdoorsy.
The leaves.
Yeah. Now the next one I want to talk about is lemongrass. And lemongrass and lemon, both of them are very good because they help with your focus, they help with your memory and concentration. And lemongrass is also very good to detox. There are many, many chemicals that we bring into our bodies we're not even aware of. And I did a whole class on VOCs, volatile organic compounds. That is one of the things that has caused, you know how during COVID, we had most people gained about 30 pounds? Well, there was a gentleman that did a study, and he said, this is not normal. Yes, they were home and they were eating, But what was happening, there has to be something else. And he did. He linked it to the toxic chemicals we cleaned with. Because most of them are toxic. Well, Young Living oils are not toxic. They're paraben free, and parabens affect especially for women, they affect our hormones. It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Very
Sure
refreshing.
is.
Uh-huh.
I love that
And
one.
I do like that one. I use that one very often in the morning. Now,
I like that.
just a little
My
side
favorite.
note with the lemongrass is if you use lemongrass and you put it in your water, don't use too much too quickly because your body is going to detox. A symptom of detoxing is you're going to feel like you have the flu because your body is detoxing, which is why I probably have a cold right now because I was detoxing and it said, no, we're not, that's enough. And so, it kind of comes out in that manner. That it takes the poisons that are in our system and we have to release them. And so sometimes it will cause us to either have the sniffles or nauseousness. Let's see what else we have here. This is another one that I like to use, when we talked about either your right brain or a left brain person, Citrus Fresh. Citrus Fresh, is it on here? I thought I had it on here. I think Citrus Fresh was kind of my add-on.
Oh, it's down on the bottom.
Ooh.
There it is, Citrus Fresh. It is very good for creativity. And if you're the left brain person, go with your right brain. If you're a right brain person, go with your left brain. But creativity, if you're needing to, even as a numbers person, I find that if I use my Citrus Fresh, I can keep track of my budget much better. I'm able to, because it's energizing, and as that energy comes through, it really makes a big difference. And it does, again, your citrus oils are very high in immunity to help build your immunity. One of the oils that, I'll get that later. And so that helps, as we keep our bodies healthy, keeps our brain healthy, right? Okay.
What do we check for that one, or do you just put right
Citrus Fresh is creativity.
create?
Yes, just really creativity.
Would that be like learning a new skill or?
Absolutely, because it's gonna help your brain. It helps your brain. So that's why I said I do have a couple of that are just extras. And on here, motivation, I don't have an open one. I didn't bring that one. Melissa, I didn't bring that one either. But Melissa is very, very good. Melissa is lemon balm. Anybody have lemon balm? Do you grow lemon balm in your yard? Yes. It can become invasive.
I was gonna say
It is everywhere.
Keep pulling it out, yes.
Do you feel better after you're outside working in it?
Oh yeah, because it has that lemony scent when you touch it or even get,
But more so than that, it works with your emotions. It works right with your emotions. And so that's a very, very high oil to use for emotions. So with that, with the dementia, is very good for dementia as well because of the emotional outbursts that come with that. And let's see, there's a couple on here that are interesting. Yang Ylang, that's not necessarily one of my favorites, but it's very highly recommended by dementia and Alzheimer's. And it's interesting that oftentimes it's the older women who like Yang Ylang. And I thought, wait, there's a connection. Yang Ylang and Patchouli, both of those, because they're both recommended by dementia and Alzheimer's. And I wonder, sometimes we don't realize why we're drawn to a certain fragrance, but sometimes it's our body is it's saying, I kind of need this. I kind of need this. Now, you'll notice that there are a few that I have not put on here, but I did want to, I don't have an open hope. That one is, and I do have my believe. And this has been one of my all-time favorites recently, because when you have a time when you just feel like it's not it's not racking up to where you thought it would be. If your expectations, if your expectations are, you've kind of been hopeless, and so your expectations are down. Believe helps you to reestablish that. One of the things that I've talked about in the past is when I retired, my goal was to share hope. And so in any way I can, that's how I've done it. And so I believe that God has worked in me to be able to share hope with people. There's a lot of people that don't have the hope that we have. And that's why I have hope. I do have the hope. One of the things that I like to do is combine the different oils with the different gifts in the bundles. And that's what I do now in sharing and trying to educate people to have them. One of our very beginning oils that kind of, and you notice, can you smell something in the room? We've had a lot of fragrances, a lot of oils come through, is Thieves. And Thieves is not on there because Thieves is it's like our bread, it's Young Living's bread and butter. It's clove, eucalyptus, cinnamon, lemon, and I did them that order. Clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, and lemon. And it's
like Christmas.
it does smell like Christmas. Yes, exactly right. It does smell exactly like Christmas.
Cloves and
Perfect.
cinnamon and, yeah,
Yep.
like you're baking
Yes, that's
something.
exactly right. Clove and cinnamon.
It's like an heirloom.
Yes, yes. Let's just set it right there.
Sorry.
I like those.
I'll let you
lemon-
go ahead and
lemon
use
ones.
this. This is our hand sanitizer. They did a test on our hand sanitizer in the New York subway. So
Well, that would be the ultimate test, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Ask me how long it took the hand sanitizer to last. Because what they did is they put it on their hands, and they tested how long it would last. Lasted 2 hours on the New York subway
Wow.
Wow.
versus many of the other ones, they last about
10 minutes?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so what do you notice about the hand sanitizer?
It's not sticky and
Yeah.
goopy.
Not sticky, goopy. Yes, exactly.
Smells
What else?
good.
And it smells
Smells
good.
good. What does it smell like?
Christmas.
Yeah. It does. Holidays.
Mhm.
Holidays.
cheerfulness, Happiness.
How about a little peppermint?
Peppermint, yeah.
Peppermint,
Little bit,
yes.
yeah.
And because it has the essential oils in it, that's what keeps it working on such a good basis. And so I just want to thank you so much for participating with me today. If you have any questions, we're going to take questions. I'm going to turn the video off right now, but we have lots of questions, and you're used to hand sanitizer because we do have some lunch.
Oh,
So
good.
join us.
I need to know what the other ones are for.